We're a Midwest American family letting the wind, waves, and road carry us on the adventure of a lifetime to learn and experience it all.
Look ahead, the sea is calm, and I know we've been through a lot, but just wait. Wait for better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails.
The harbors finally opened up and we could take our long-awaited sailing lessons. So Todd and I headed to the lakefront to meet up with Chicago Sailing.
Okay, I absolutely am terrified of sailing lesson, but I'm a little more relaxed about it because I also remember that I need to keep taking footage and I don't like taking footage. So there's just a whole lot of fears being faced today. I've touched base with Chicago Sailing and I know where I'm going at least. We're here at the water, all the sailboats behind us. Kind of walked around the dock a little bit trying to figure out where I was. Thanks to COVID, couldn't really get dropped off exactly where I needed to be, so I've got my morning walk in already. And walking around the docks, I'm just actually feeling much more at home than I thought I would. Pretty relaxed, being around the boats and the water and all of that, feeling pretty comfortable that way. Still feeling a little awkward having to record stuff, but we'll get used to it. That's gonna be life, right? I guess I can't really ask Finn to put his face underwater and face that fear if I'm not gonna be willing to face my fears, right? Speaking of facing fears, this morning as I was walking around watching my phone trying to figure out where I was, I almost ran into some geese, and I hate geese. They hissed at me. I got close enough that they could hiss at me and looked up and was like, oh crap, there's geese. So I guess I can sort of check that one off my list. I'm getting closer to kicking a goose in the head. But we've got about 4 minutes until we're ready to go, and I am going to just keep an eye out for my instructor.
While we both had been on boats before, none of us had any real idea how to sail. The first thing we learned was just how much terminology there was. You have your basic boat parts like bow and stern, directionals like port side, starboard, fore, and aft, which never change, plus directionals like leeward and windward, which do change literally depending on how the wind is blowing. I can't speak for Todd, but I was feeling super overwhelmed. We got on the J22s, which are small 22-foot boats, and learned even more terminology. The tiller controls the rudder. Todd had no problem with it, but I struggled hard trying to get my bearings to steer the boat where I wanted it to go. There's a mainsail and a jib, or main sheet and jib sheet. Everything has multiple names and everyone uses a different term. Based on terminology alone, sailors are crazy. We learned a hard lesson during these first hours of sailing, and they had nothing to do with boats, the water, or the wind. Good camera position is vital to good footage. The chest harness seemed like a great idea and a great way to get some first-person point of view footage, but the result was a lot of video of other people. I should have taken the instructor up on his offer to mount the camera on the mast. Todd and I didn't take our lessons together, so we have zero footage of ourselves at the helm. Beautiful views of the skyline, little of us. Not that we needed a reason to get back out on the water, but we definitely have one. This is footage of Todd at the helm. However, this is not footage of me trimming the jib.
This way. That way. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep going. So we're Chicago Sailing.
Our last day of sailing lessons held a surprise for us. In addition to some nice wind, Todd's class took a slightly bigger boat, making room for me on board. With Todd at the helm and me working the sails, it was really easy to picture our future together sailing. That initial feeling of overwhelmed and the urgency to take in as much information as possible had passed. We could relax and enjoy the water. It felt right to make plans to get on a sailboat again, hone our skills, and introduce the kids to sailing life.
I never covered that. What does it mean to be reefed?
So to be reefed is to reduce the amount of sail area.
Oh,
So
like they didn't raise the mainsail all the way up.
right.
Okay.
So, and it's a little more complicated than just pulling on and not raising it. We actually have lines that secure the a third of the sail down, and then make sure that the sail has the correct shape. Now those lines, I can tell you one of them is right here. This one, and then on this boat, we're actually.
Do the J-22s have the capacity to reef like that?
They do, yep. So remind me when we go back in and I'll point it out. But
Okay.
there's a red line and a black line. The red line goes to the back, the black line goes to the front.
Thank you.
Yep.
A big thank you to Chicago Sailing for a great Learn to Sail program and amazing, knowledgeable instructors. Until next time, may the wind be always at your back and your next adventure at the horizon. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and turn post notifications on so you can join us on our next adventure.